Welcome back everyone to another On Court with Sunny video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the slice. Why it's such an important shot and not just a defensive shot. Why a lot of the opponents or the players struggle with the slice. Lastly, some of the match play situations we can use the slice in and frustrate our opponent and develop a winning pattern.
It's kind of risky at this angle though.
I'll block you one here.
If I die, I die, right?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So let's start understanding really quickly of why this shot is so important. And later on, we'll get into the match play situations as well, and then see how we can use the slice effectively in different situations. So number one, it's a really effective approach shot when I'm going towards the net. It is a great shot when I'm in a defensive situation, when I'm not able to get to the side and hit a topspin shot, and I can hit my slice to get back into the point. It's a very effective return a serve shot, especially if you're playing a big server. And lastly, our opponents can struggle against an incoming slice because of the different spin, speed, and height that we're able to generate on a slice as opposed to a topspin ball. Especially at the club level or recreational level, you see that a lot where the players have a tough time adjusting to somebody hitting a slice because you are essentially taking the ball out of their strike zone. Same way we do that on a topspin shot by bouncing the ball a bit higher. It goes above our strike zone. On the slice, the ball can stay low, and then same idea happens, and it is out of our strike zone, so which makes it harder for the opponent to return it. Another reason a lot of the club players or recreational level players struggle against the slice is just they have a hard time getting down to the level of the ball to hit a slice. And a lot of the times I'll see is just when the slice comes, they just stay too tall and they swing down on the ball and they end up hitting the ball in the net. So that's why it's another effective shot to use against somebody, if you notice, that are having a hard time staying low to the low balls. So that brings us to the next part and how we can use it in some of the match play situations, and we can frustrate our opponent by developing a winning pattern against them. So one of the first scenarios we're going to discuss is using it as an approach shot. And when I'm using it as an approach shot, so if I get a short ball into the court somewhere around here and I am going to hit an approach, my natural footwork will bring me to the net as well, where I can finish the points off by hitting a volley or an overhead. So it's a really effective shot to use it as an approach as opposed to doing a topspin approach and then moving forward. And it also mixes up the pace a bit, so your opponent is not getting used to a certain type of shot. So you're hitting some slice approaches, you can do topspin approaches. And also with the slice approach, the ball will actually stay low, which makes it a lot harder for your opponent to pass you at the net. The second scenario we're going to discuss is when I'm pushed to the sides and I have to defend. So in case somebody's hitting a cross-court shot with a good angle and it pushes me to the doubles alley or even further than the doubles alley, I can use the slice to get back into the court by hitting the ball with a bit more air or slowing the speed of the balls to give me time to recover back into the court, whether it's on the backhand side or on the forehand side. Also, by putting more balls in play, eventually you will be frustrating your opponent, as you see on TV all the time, right? A lot of the players that are good counterpunchers or defensive players can really frustrate their opponents by putting more balls in play. The third scenario will be using it as an offensive shot. So if I get a ball that is still close to the baseline, but it doesn't have as much on it, I can use an offensive slice and then have the ball skid low to the opponent, and then in return you might get a weaker shot which you can attack on the next ball. Roger Federer, Stan Wawrinka, there's some of the players that use their slice very effectively, even though Stan has an amazing topspin backhand too. With their slice, they're able to just, again, change the speed and spin on the ball and the height to just not give your opponents enough rhythm to develop a pattern against you. So another great example of Roger Federer using the slice effectively is that when he hits it short into the service box. If you ever see any of his matches, notice that pattern and you'll see how many times he actually uses that short slice cross court and then brings the opponent in and then pass them either on the forehand side or on the backhand side. And lastly, using it as a return of serve. Again, I'm going to use the example of Roger Federer that against fast servers like Andy Roddick, where he used the block return or a slice return very effectively throughout his career. I just recently saw an interview with Andy Roddick on Tennis Channel. It's like Roger Federer's swing was like this big on the return. I know he was exaggerating a bit, but it's just he can just block the returns with a short swing and then able to get more balls in play, which again will frustrate your opponent and give you more chances of winning the point. So next time you're on the court, and if you're facing a big server, try it and let me know how it went for you. If you're able to block a lot more returns in. Stan Wawrinka is another great example of somebody that uses the slice or the block return on the first serves. For him, he has a more extreme grip change from a forehand to a one-handed backhand. And so that's why he uses the block returns on the first serve a lot. And then on the second serve, he's able to have more time to get around to switch that grip to hit his topspin backhand or forehands. So hopefully I've convinced you to use your slice more often and how it's not just a defensive shot, but we can actually use it in different scenarios and different situations on the court, especially when you can combine it with your topspin forehands and backhands. It can really help you disrupt the rhythm of your opponent. If you want to watch a video on how to improve your one-handed backhand and the 3 key fundamentals you need, then watch this video next, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye.